And welcome back to Grim Dawn. Okay, so finally I can replace this relic Hysteria, which I've been using for basically all of the run. Required player level 25. I am level 82, and finally I can make Abyssmal's Domination. I've done the prerequisites for this item, so let's craft this. This is a nice power boost. Costs a lot of money, but I have a lot of money. Okay, there we are. Abyssmal's Domination. Completion bonus 18% pierce resistance. Okay, sure. That is actually... yeah, that's actually good, since that isn't maxed. Alright, there we go. Goodbye to the crab spirit. Won't be needing you anymore. Thank you for your service, though. Alright, so yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's out of there. Okay. Let's head back to the Forgotten Gods content. I have a bunch of lore notes to read, and I'm sure I will find more of them, but let's do a bit of gameplay first. So I think this is the right portal. Is it though? Maybe it's not. Yeah, maybe it's not. Okay. It's is it this one? Yeah, that's the one. That's the right one. Okay, so here we are, Tomb of the Eldritch Sun. And we have Korvaak's Chosen here. Well, for a little bit they are here. I will of course kill nearly all of them. Maybe even every single one. Okay, let's keep on killing. Lots of rage flames as well. Kind of nice to be finally rid of the spirit grab. Was needing to resummon that thing all the time. Well, need is a strong word. I didn't need it. Okay, so like I said last time, I think we are pretty near the end of the expansion. So there's basically 2 bosses left, and they are very close to each other, if I recall. Father Kaimon is the first one, and of course Korvaak is the big bad. Okay, come on. I might not be as talkative as I was during the last episode, but we'll see. We shall see if I can think of something to say. That's a neat little statue at least. Not sure I'd want that in my house, but at least it's a bit different. Also, let's once again resummon. I'm feeling confident enough in Argyle's survival prospects that I don't need to concentrate on the game all that much. Who knows, I might be wrong. To be honest, I won't be too sad if I am wrong and Argyle dies. Okay, and resummon the hound, or whatever the hell it is. I guess it's not a hound. Yeah, it's not a hound. Briarthorn, yeah. That is something that only exists in Grim Dawn. Yeah, there are a bunch of tougher enemies here, so I will need to keep resummoning a lot. Even with the power boost from the new relic. Okay. And now that I've done a bunch of killing, let's read a lore note. Which is what everyone has been waiting for anxiously. Okay, let's see. Third entry, fourth entry, fifth and sixth. Well, we'll start with the third one. Rhinos notes, third entry. Today was my first full day in Korvaak City, and I must say I am as awestruck by its majesty as I was when I first landed at the Keran docks. The focal point of the city is a grand temple dedicated to the Eldritch sun Korvaak, a deity I am unfamiliar with, but one that dominates local theology. The temple's majesty is indescribable. It seems to dwarf everything in sight, even nearby mountains, and it radiates with such an energy that its heat can be felt even in the midday sun. Even I, a skeptic, find myself in sheer admiration. I've been told that the heat of the temple had dwindled for some years but has recently rekindled, a cause for celebration and ritual. I suspect it is built on a geological feature, perhaps a volcano or hot spring of some sort. I should very much wish to gain access to the inside. Though, as I discovered by visiting several smaller temples around the city, this is unlikely to happen. The main temple holds particular importance, and entry is strictly prohibited to outsiders. Though it appears to be the focal point of the local faith, Korvaak is by no means the only entity worshipped by the Korvan people. There also appear to be lesser gods whom the people call ascendants. What that exactly means, I am not clear on, and nobody had a straight answer for me either. The stories regarding these individuals vary, and not all of them seem to be holy men or even devout practitioners. By my observation, they may well be wealthy individuals that have bought their way to deification and the social reverence that comes with. Nonetheless, minor temples were constructed in their honor, and they are all worshipped in their own right and for various means, sometimes even before death. I should very much like to know what qualifies a person for a place of such honor, and so tomorrow I will be visiting several temples positioned around the main temple of the Eldritch Sun. If birthright will not grant me access, then perhaps the grease of a few coins will. Ew, greasy coins. I wouldn't want to hold greasy coins in my pocket or in my purse. That was a dumb joke. I apologize. Anyway, let's continue. Good to get some lore notes out of the way before I find new ones. Alright, let's trigger all of these fools and then kill them. They're all very keen to die for their master. Alrighty. Dynamite, okay. Sure. And resummon. If memory serves, there are 2 levels to this tomb, after which we will face Kaimon. And then there's like a very short dungeon, at the end of which we will find Korvaak himself. And that will be the end of the expansion, though there are still some side things to do, which I might do, but I haven't decided yet. Also, I never would have imagined that I would get this far with a character without investing in augments. I still haven't reached revered reputation with any faction. Especially since this is a hardcore character, I am very surprised that it has been this easy, but I guess that goes to show just how good summoners are in the game. And of course I have built Argyle to be pretty safe. Pretty damn safe. Because it's better to be safe than sorry. Alright, I think I'm feeling generous, and I will allow some of these zealots to live on. Let's not clear the entire place. Okay, this is the second level. Okay, let's read the fourth entry of the writings of Ryan the Scholar. Following today's investigation of the tombs and temples of Korvan City, I must say I am more confused and frankly enthralled by the Korvan faith than I could have possibly imagined. Today I had the privilege to bear witness to a ceremony at the Temple of Ran, where the Ascendant himself was present to perform the honorable rite. It is my understanding that Ran holds domain over the sun itself, and it is by his blessing that the sun rises each day to warm the earth and give life to the harvest. The ceremony itself was brief and involved the slaughter of 5 goats upon the golden altar. Their blood spilled into the carving in the form of a many-pronged sun. Ran was a splendor to behold, his skin as golden as the suit of armor he wore. The armor glowed with burning energy, and yet, as some of the acolytes in the temple described to me from their blessed opportunities to lay their hands upon it, it is cool to the touch. With the way he presents himself, it is easy to see why his followers believe this man to be a deity. The acolytes tell me that this is actually the 12th incarnation of Ran. His father was the 11th, and so on, down the patriarchal chain of his family. Each of them had allegedly lived for centuries, and each had willingly given his life in the service of the Eldritch sun. I was astonished to discover that the deification of this figure was his birthright. It does, however, lend credence to my suspicions regarding the true nature of these Korvan gods. The acolytes of this temple were more than eager to share Ran's history with me. I swear if I let them, they'd talk all day of his countless accomplishments and divine intervention. But what did catch my attention was the presumed rivalry between Ran and another deity they call Atep, the Lord of the Moon. As this rivalry heated up, Atep, I've learned, had slighted the Eldritch sun and was thus banished from setting foot in Korvan City to ever again feel the warmth of a day upon his flesh. But the divine Korvaak was not without mercy. Once every 30 cycles of the sun, the disgraced Atep was to make a pilgrimage to Korvan City and make an offering upon the grand temple steps. This is an extraordinary and incredibly creative explanation for the cycling of day and night, and the wax and wane of the moon. If this strange practice of ascension weren't enough, the people of the Korvan Valley also appear to deify native animals and sometimes odd combinations of people and animals. The Korvan griffin is a particularly common target of this practice. The creatures apparently live in rigid hierarchical packs which elevate a singular, usually male individual to an alpha, known by the Korvan people as a sovereign. These griffin sovereigns are then worshipped by locals as minor deities. The intricacies of the Korvan faith are remarkable, but it must not go unmentioned that they all lead back to Korvaak in one fashion or another. I shall focus future investigations on this penultimate deity. Okay, so yeah. So the next two will, in light of that information, contain information about Korvaak himself. Okay, let's keep on killing. We have a quota to meet. Yeah, it seems that the Briarthorn and the Blight Fiend are getting killed pretty easily. Basically, they will just disappear occasionally. Yeah, there they go. Okay. Sure. I can keep resummoning them. It's fine. It's a little bit annoying, but it's fine. Okay. Dash coming in handy again. So what this place kind of reminds me of is the... Well, I don't remember what it's called, but in Act 3 of Diablo 2, Mephisto's dungeon, this is kind of like that, with the aesthetic, a little bit.
That skill's not ready.
I would imagine that at least some other people will feel the same way. Also, nice jump, dude. Brother Segarius, Vengeance of Kaiman. Okay. Well, he won't be jumping around no more. So I wonder how the Korvaak fight will go, just how many times I'll need to get the minions back up. I would imagine that it's going to be plenty of times, if even these enemies are posing such a threat to them. Not to Argyle, so far at least, but yeah, the minions keep on getting struck down. Oh well. It is what it is. With better loot and perhaps some better decisions in the devotion and skill trees, the minions are quite sturdy though. I've played a summoner, well, at least a couple of summoners in this game before.
That skill's not ready.
Okay, and there are a bunch of enemies here. Yes, of course, there's also a totem though. So let's kill these ones first and then kill some more. Not sure this music actually fits into this place. Okay, let's see how we fare. Keep on resummoning. Hide behind a corner, as you do. Okay, need to find another corner, it seems. This guy rudely decided that that corner won't be safe anymore. Yeah, the sad piano music I don't think fits. It's a little bit strange. Maybe it's just me though. I mean, well, basically, whenever you need to ask yourself, or when you ask yourself, or say that, is it just me? No, it's never just you. There are so many people in the world. It can never be just you. Also, it's possible I'm actually going to die here, because I'm getting surrounded. Well, let's dash out of there. Okay, and now I'm in a corner again. Let's get out of there.
That skill's not ready.
Oh, you're healing them, aren't you? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. How rude of you. Come on, go down, please.
That skill's not ready.
Please go down, thank you. No more healing. Okay, are we finally there? Did we finally clear the totem? Okay, that's a lot of loot. Also got a blueprint. Let's see. No, the inventory is already nearly full. Yeah, Seal of Destruction. So now we are getting these Ashes of Malmuth added component blueprints, which are very powerful. Okay, there we are. And there was another blueprint. Where did it go? Over there. Okay, time to read the next lore note. 5th entry. I can no longer count the days since I've first arrived in Korvaak City. I have been so enveloped by my work that I've lost track of the rising and setting of the sun. Ron would be so disappointed in me. I find it difficult to pull my attention away. I've hired a young man to bring me meals 3 times a day, and I must admit they are piling up outside the door to my chambers. My time is spent poring over mountains of texts and tomes, rites and ceremonies in an attempt to better understand the origins of this Korvaak. What I've learned thus far is truly fascinating. As far back as I can go, there seems to be no inconsistency to his presence or domain, no evolution of his worship. It is as if the core of the Korvan religion had somehow remained pure since its inception. Quite unusual. It is that or its founders had put a great deal of effort into obscuring its true origins. The texts I've perused make it seem as though the rites and rituals are performed today as they were when first prescribed centuries ago. According to these texts, Korvaak reigns over the Eldritch realm, a plane of existence in parallel to our own, of his very making. They say that no mortal may bear witness upon its splendors and live. Some fools have tried and paid the ultimate price for it. The texts warn of a many-eyed guardian that stands as a warning to all that would dare trespass upon the god's domain. Korvaak himself is said to be primordial, and ancient and eternal, a progenitor of all that mankind cherishes. From his eldritch throne, the Korvan god ascended numerous champions to enforce his rule. He had even been known to elevate those that dare challenge his worship as a means to appease them, turning former foes into steadfast allies. The now familiar names of Ran and Atep came up several times in the various tales spun around Korvaak's divine actions. The history of the Korvan faith is indeed generations in the making. The Eldritch Sun is depicted both as the blessed flame and the dreadful terror of destruction. It seems he is both adored and feared by those that show him reverence, and with good reason. Though Korvaak is generally depicted as benevolent to his followers, there are numerous recordings of disasters or outright cleansings that were attributed to the god's retribution for mortals displeasing him. Some of these events seem eerily familiar, though I cannot recall why. I suspect there are similar mythos which I have been exposed to in nearby regions. There are also a number of rituals which bear a remarkable similarity to primitive practices I have researched in the past. This leads me to wonder if there are other tribes and civilizations that have been worshipping Korvaak since antiquity, but perhaps by a different name. This is a matter which will necessitate further investigation. Okie dokie. So getting some more backstory / world building for the expansion. And Korvaak in particular. Of course, the player need not know any of that. It's enough to know that there is a big bad guy that needs to die, and killing him will yield plenty of loot and experience points. That's basically it. There is a desecrated shrine here. Okay. tried to get to that chest, but it was a foolish endeavor with all of these enemies around. Well, this chest was less guarded. Alrighty. That's better. And that is a level up, level 83 now. And the inventory is about to be filled completely. Also, I have 3 skill points. Okay, let's see. What do we get? What do we get? Is this any good? I don't know. Could also improve the Wendigo totem. Especially blood pact, I think. How about on the necromancer side? Is there anything I'd like in particular at this point? So if I find the right equipment, then I will specialize more into the Blight Fiend, or perhaps the Briarthorn, or even maybe the Primal Spirit, which I haven't gotten to. Let's just increase emboldening presence to the maximum and put a point to the Briarthorn, and let's see. Yeah, sure, let's take Heart of the Wild. 1 point there. Okay. And that's yet another blueprint.
I can't carry anymore.
And yeah, I need to go back to town. Let's grab this blueprint. Yes, I know. I know. It's a shame that I can't command the minions to carry my stuff. Okay, so let's get to the selling. Try to be quick here. So yeah, like I said last time, I couldn't think of any other actually good fantasy films apart from Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, and Conan the Barbarian, the first one. I'm pretty sure there exist some at least decently good fantasy films, but I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I also mentioned Willow, which, well, I already talked about that, so why am I speaking about it again? Yeah, but it's interesting that fantasy is such a popular genre in video games and in books, but there are so few actually good films in a fantasy setting. I think that's a interesting discrepancy. Kind of interesting. Game of Thrones was good, but that's not a film. And also, basically everyone knows how that turned out. Even the first season did take a lot of liberties, and I don't think the liberties worked out in the show's favor. I think they should have just, for the most part, followed what Martin wrote. Not that his writing is like that good, especially later on, but it's still, or it was pretty damn good in the early books. Or at least the whole attitude and, how should I put it, not being afraid to break the rules, if you can call them rules, and having there be actual consequences. That's what made those stories special. The fact that even major characters could die, and sometimes it was because of their actions,
Safe storage, no questions asked.
and sometimes it was just how the world works. Anyway, so yeah, now I have a bunch of blue items left. I'll just leave them for now. I'll blow them up Probably on my own time, but we'll see how many I get. Anyway, let's head back. Have there been other actually... Well, I hesitate to use the word good when, when talking about Game of Thrones with the way it ended. But the first 4 seasons were quite good. Not perfect by any means, but then again, what is perfect? So yeah, I can't, off the top of my head, think of any good fantasy series either, apart from the early seasons of Game of Thrones. It's kind of a difficult genre to pull off in live action, I think. There's a need for a lot of special effects that might look goofy, the world might seem silly. Especially the higher fantasy you go, the sillier it is going to seem, if not done spectacularly well, I think. Also, okay, yeah, here we are. So here is Father Kaiman, so let's pause my ruminations and speak with him. Father Kaiman, avatar of Korvaak, so you should have a voiced dialogue.
It is too late. Turn back now. Return to whatever loved ones you still cherish, and perhaps you will evade Korvaak's wrath.
I can't let you do this.
It is beyond stopping. Korvaak is risen, and his revenge upon the false gods will be absolute. You are but a gnat caught in the hurricane. Turn back now, and perhaps you will be spared.
False gods?
You do not know. The very gods you chose to serve are nothing more than lies. The 3 are not true gods, merely usurpers who will get their just rewards. Korvaak is humanity's only hope against Chthon and the legions of the Void.
You're delusional.
Did what I had to. Humanity already lost this war. We require the aid of a greater power. A power that seeks the destruction of Chthonians above all else. Some deaths are inevitable. A small price to pay for the survival of our people.
Okay, well, this madness apparently ends here. Let's attack. Okay, and he beefed himself up quite a bit there in just a second. And it seems he's actually very easy. Was able to kill a bunch of minions already, but it seems he's going down very fast.
I can't do that yet.
Okay, come on. That was semi-close, actually. Yeah, he disappointed me as well. Anyway, so now we only have the one big bad, Mr. Korvaak himself. So let's get to it. I guess I should read this lore note. Oh, yeah, I still have one more. For a second there, I thought I didn't have any of them left. Anyway, so here we are in the Eldritch Gate, and here's a Rift Gate. But like I said, let's read this. I have made a startling discovery while on my latest foray into the Korvan texts. While exploring the vast collection of the Korvan City Library, I briefly escaped the attention of its stewards and found my way to a closed-off archive. Among ancient birth records of some of the most prestigious Korvan families, several ascendants included, I unearthed a collection of texts that appear to shatter some of the core tenets of the very faith that is central to these people's lives. A large number of the pages were badly damaged, as if whatever ward cast upon them had violently dissipated. Strangely, the parchment itself appeared newer than some of the records I've seen. Perhaps someone had restored a damaged record at a later date. The bits that I could make out, however, painted a very different account of the early years of the Korvan faith. Korvaak himself was shown as a usurper, a conqueror of a realm he had no part in making. It is not entirely clear if the Korvaak that is spoken of today is even the same one described in those texts, or whether that is the name given to the master of the Eldritch throne. Another curiosity was the description of the upheaval involved in such a transition of power, a whirlwind of creation and destruction within which were caught the unfortunate believers. Sadly, before I could complete my analysis of the text, one of the stewards discovered my presence in the closed-off archive and promptly chased me out of the building. Yeah, with a broom, saying, "Choo! Shoo!" What little I've managed to read offers some troubling conclusions. Is Korvaak's rule destined to falter as it had before? If so, will the same destruction consume these people when it does? It is truly a shame that I could not spend more time with those texts, as they represented a fantastic culmination of my research into the origins of the Korvan faith. Alas, I must prepare to leave this land. Though I have learned a great deal, I am certain there is more than a lifetime of knowledge hidden away here. The devotion and machinations of the Korvan people have proven to be one of my most fascinating studies. Okie dokie. So, not sure if there are actually more of these notes from this same scholar. If there are, I may have missed.
Centuries. The usurpers dare not even show their faces.
Yes. But like I was saying, it's possible I missed one or two of those notes somewhere. Speaking of notes though, here is a lore note. Okay, please die so I can get back to the important stuff. Alrighty. Let's read this one as well. Splendors of the Eldritch realm. To behold the realm of the Eldritch Sun is a blessing unto itself. To be granted the honor by the divine himself is another matter entirely. But so it was on the day I visited the Temple of Ran, to breathe of the sacred incense, that I was visited with a vision of golden light and flame. It was without a doubt a manifestation of our divine, Korvaak. I am certain of it. With arms open wide, he welcomed me to witness the splendors of his realm. The temple walls dissolved around us, and I found myself stepping onto a land for which words are lacking. Massive winged creatures glided in the distance, their glistening feathers backdropped by a brilliant starry sky. Auroras of raw magic flowed between vast floating islands of trees and plants I've never seen before. I touched one of the roots and raw arcane energies pulsed away from my fingertips. It was all too much for a mortal mind to absorb. I turned to our benefactor with tears in my eyes. I could tell I was visibly shaking. The Eldritch Sun took mercy on me, and I awoke abruptly to find myself surrounded by the temple priests. I had apparently started convulsing, and foam formed itself at the corners of my lips. The priests placed some herbs beneath my nose, which they say was what allowed me to awaken again. I told them that could not be true, as I was visited by the Eldritch Sun himself. I was looked upon as a madman. Why would I, of all people, gathered at the temple, be granted such an amazing sight? For that I do not have an answer, but I cannot deny the gift I was given, even if the envious are in denial of its magnitude. Okie dokie. And here's also a corpse. I guess I'll see about this path as well. No, okay. wasn't a path at all. Good talk. Okie dokie, let's get back on the rails.
How long did they think their charade would last?
Didn't remember that Korvaak had so many things to say. Well, at least it's not as cringy as it is in Diablo 3. With the enemies taunting you childishly all the time. Okay, legendary item, which once again will not be used by Argyle. Let's go left for a change. Guess I could just run past these enemies. I don't need to kill them.
Come, little human. I'll make this go.
Alright, I'm coming. Coming, dear. Reminds me of that Monty Python sketch with John Cleese. I think he's like a radio presenter or something like that, and he's ranting about communists, going off about them for a long time, using strong words, and then I think like his wife in the sketch calls to him that the tea's ready, and he just stops the angry ranting and goes, "Coming, dear." Not all of the Monty Python sketches have aged well, but some of them are still as good as ever. Goes without saying for the movies, of course, but I'm speaking about the show. Alright, so here we are. Here is Korvaak. Hello. How are you doing? Not so well currently, it seems. Okay, break free already. It's time to end the S&M session. He makes kind of comical sounds. Okay, and let's try to avoid the meteors or whatever the hell those are coming down from the sky. Bravely run around. Let the minions handle it. I don't know why I find it so amusing how he's moaning, basically. I think it's because it's repeating the same voice line all the time. The same grunts. Oh, now he's angry. He is kind of creepy looking with those 4 arms that he has. But I can't take him seriously if he keeps going on like that. Yes, yes. Whatever you say. Okay. 1/3 to go. Oh, the minions died. Well, let's see if Argyle dies. Probably not, but you never know. The dash ability is so good. This would be so much more difficult without it. Now, this form deals a lot more damage than the previous ones. Okay, sir, please stop. Cease and desist. Oh, that hurts.
Can't do that.
Let's get the minions back. Well, we are getting there. Slowly, but surely. Yeah, I think there would be a far greater chance to die here without the dash ability. Since it grants immunity frames. And you can reposition so easily. Oh, that was actually a lot of damage. Well, I guess I'm glad there's a real sense of danger for once. In a long while. Nearly through him though. Would be kind of, I don't know, fitting to die here though. I wouldn't be mad. Okay. How much longer? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I was gonna check my resistances, but now is perhaps not the right time. Are we there yet? Come on. There we are. He's trying to say something, but I can't make out what. Alright, well, that was an actual fight though. So, that's exciting. Okay, and now let's take your stuff. That is kind of garbage, apart from the blueprint. That I do like. This is a nice component. Okay. Not even one legendary item. Well, it is what it is. Okay, rift back to the Korvan lands. But yeah, he also had a lore note. Let's see, where is it? Where did you go? If I was a lore note, where would I go in this inventory? Here probably. No. Maybe it has like a special graphic since it came from Korvaak. Where the heck is it? Damn it. Maybe it's like a bigger icon. I apologize, I cannot seem to locate it. Maybe I am blind. Selective blindness. Oh, damn it. Well, I can't seem to find it. Oh well. Whatever, maybe I'll spot it later on. Anyway, let's return to the Conclave of the Three. I'm sure there's someone we need to report back to. Yeah, here is the emissary.
Korvaak's anguished cries have echoed across realities.
Yes, Korvaak is no more.
His cult has been crushed. Even now, his scattered followers are being hunted down and eliminated. The forgotten god will soon be a distant memory. Without a vessel, his powers will wane, and he shall fade into nothingness. Never again will the people of Cairn have to fear for their lives at the mercy of Korvaak's fickle temper and destructive malevolence. Know that the witch gods are grateful for your sacrifice, even if they do not thank you in person. Wherever your journey leads next, their eyes will be upon you. Here, a prize from the gods themselves.
Yay, a legendary shield for an Oathkeeper. Thank you, I guess. What will the cults do now?
We must ensure that none of Korvaak's followers survive what happened here. If belief in Korvaak persists, then a spark of his being shall remain. We must snuff it out while we can.
But you said he will never again be a threat.
Korvaak will never again be a threat of the magnitude we faced this day. That I promise you. Without a vessel to contain his primordial form, his powers will wane. And should he ever hope to return to Cairn, the witch gods will see to his demise. But if he is truly forgotten...
Korvaak said the Eldritch realm was his. Why?
Do not think to believe the snake tongue of that being. It spreads naught but lies. The Eldritch realm is the domain of the three, now and forever.
Okay, and apparently now we can jump to a completely different topic. How old are you exactly? Yeah, that's a nice thing to say.
Let us just say that I was once a young priest in the service of men here, believing myself righteous. But my eyes were opened by the witch gods. When they forged their covenant, I offered myself in service. My actions saw the cults flourish beneath the Empire's gaze. For my accomplishments, I serve unto eternity.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Anyway, let's see. Is there more people to report back to? Have I done something? The active quests list is just too long to make any sense of. Here's Riggs. Not Martin Riggs, but Riggs. I guess I'll speak with you again.
My friend.
Got anything new for me? Yeah, no, I think I do. You're really gonna be in my debt now. You ready to make another deal? I guess I should have done this way earlier to fight his debt collectors. That's what I like to hear. Okay, actually, actually a pet item, a legendary ring, glyph of Kelfat Sot. So it's like a lightning pet ring. Not sure I'll actually use it. Maybe. It is required player level 58 only though. So we've basically out-leveled that. It is a ring, so it's not as big of a deal, but still. That's what I like to hear. This is what I've got. Now remember, I'm gonna be coming around to collect on this someday, and I do hope you're ready to pay up. Yeah, we'll see.
Back so soon?
Yeah, I am back straight away. There you are, right on time. I always had you pegged as someone I'd want owing me a favor, but defeating a god? Granted, a famished, tormented god, but a god nonetheless. I think you and I have some matters to discuss. Matters of debt? I don't owe you anything. Now don't be like that. A man makes an honest deal with you and this is how you respond? Someone with a shorter temper might not take too kindly to that. Didn't you just say I defeated a god? Like, how much do you think of yourself? But I know you'll come to your senses. You and I are finished. Look, let me spell it out for you in terms you might understand. I've got people all over this land that owe me big. Any one of them would leap on a sword to be free of such a weight. What if I so happened to tell them to return with your head? You catch my meaning? Bring them on, I'm not working for you. Okay, so he will spawn a bunch of pretty difficult debt collectors. And yeah, I should have done that earlier, but whatever. It seems Elaine, whatever your name is, has something for me to do.
I've heard whispers. An opportunity has presented itself. The web stirs with excitement for what may be a crippling blow to our foes. As someone trusted with Bismail's schemes, I thought it imperative that you be informed.
What is it?
We have spotted a small group of Kaiman's chosen that are fleeing the Basin. We believe they have lost their faith in their master, and our activities have sapped them of hope. Normally, this would not be cause for alarm, but these fools also made away with a Corvan relic. As we speak, they're trying to escape the Basin with this artifact. They were last spotted within the Sunbane Oasis, east of the Karen docks. The relic must be recovered.
Well, of course it must.
Their lives were already forfeit the moment they sided with Kaiman. Do not fail Bismail in this.
I mean, I've defeated Korvaak, so I don't know just how important one relic is, but I guess I'll accept. Anyway, let's see. Well, I can't really see, like I said. There's too many things here. Still have these bounties that I never took care of. I guess I could do the Briar Thorns at least, but... Also have the Shattered Realm to do. Well, at least the quest part of the Shattered Realm. Probably should do that at some point. Not now, though. Also have a bunch of junk in the inventory again. And oh yeah, the lore note. I think it was a lore note, at least. From Korvaak himself. Yeah, whatever. It's somewhere around here, I guess. Somewhere there. Among the pile of trash that I have. Anywho, I guess what I could do is go to the, let's see, Gloom Vault and get to the next Rift Gate before I end the episode. I'll just run straight there, at least to the best of my memory. So it's vaguely to the north, I think. Well, also I should kill these enemies because they can drop the flowers that you need for the good components. Ugden blooms, or Agden, whatever. However you pronounce it, there's one already. There is quite a bit of grinding in this game if you want the very best stuff. You need to grind for components. If you want specific items, you need to grind for them. Some of the items will, of course, only drop from certain enemies, etc, etc, etc. You also need the... well, you don't need, but you probably do want to reach revered reputation with at least a couple of factions. And of course you need to kill specific enemies for that as well. Alright, so I did do this stuff. Not all of it, not all of Ashes of Malmuth content on veteran difficulty, but yeah, I don't need to do every single thing on ultimate difficulty either. I'll do as much as I feel like. That was an extremely easy totem, by the way. At least when compared with the last handful of totems in the Forgotten Gods part of the game. Maybe it's to the east, actually, not to the north. Well, we'll see. This is a bunch of enemies. I mean, it's always a bunch of enemies, but I guess that bunch was a bit bunchier than usual. Okay, well, let's kill them. Getting a lot of blueprints. There is also that, yeah, Garrett Torben is around here somewhere. Oh, here he is, yeah. Hello.
Just leave me.
Yes, yes. Blah 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 blah. Shove him into a rift gate. It's for his own good. Yes, I dare. I dare. Or maybe I don't dare. I'm running away. Okay, there is the next rift gate. Let's kill, I guess, these guys before I go there. Okay, and take your junk as usual. No littering allowed. Alright, so that is going to be the end of the episode. I will once again do the inventory stuff on my own time. So yeah, that was the end, well, the main content of the Forgotten Gods expansion done with. And the end fight was actually pretty exciting, because I did kind of come close to dying a few times, but I didn't. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.